Well, it is Tuesday, the 16th of August. I'm thinking about going to take a bike ride on this little bike trip. I'm out here in Summerville, South Carolina, and pretty much, I'll be watching videos, people, Master P, all these different paradigms and them shit out here. Just watching stuff, I'm like, I'm supposed to appreciate my education, but I guess that's why people like Tupac made a song called "I Wonder If Heaven Got a Ghetto," because in reality, being from the ghetto, it is a struggle. Most people in the ghetto will die because of some type of dysfunctional matter or dysfunctional idea, like being raped, being kidnapped, all that shit is glorified in the ghetto. The glorification of the street mentality. It's all in our minds. It's a narcissistic effect from, just the pimp game. You know what I'm saying? The pimp game is not just about bitches selling their ass and getting money and benefiting off their womanhood and men benefiting off their manhood. Like I've said before, and I study all this music a little bit. I listen to it over and over again, and I realized that I don't care how you look at it. Most of us do have a voice. I spend my time listening to music all day because I do come from the dynamic of the hood, right? You living in an area where people are going around doing all this crazy shit. I was watching a video about racism and white people and shit, where the white people start and all this shit, and it's a whole idea. It's all pimpology, right? All these ideas are curses and shit that are on our minds, and at the end of the day, I get up every day and I be thinking, I don't know what's what. Anybody else feel like that? Most people in my life in the ghetto believe in God or some type of idea about a higher power being in control of everything that you do and everything around you, right? Something that you can't see is called faith. So, as far as I'm concerned, most of us are going to have a voice. I go on Facebook and Instagram and I actually appreciate the video. And I was watching a video of a man with no legs, pretty much, or maybe he have some type of syndrome or something to where his legs couldn't grow. There's no telling. And he was in shape. And I'm like, there's absolutely no reason for me to sit here and be lazy. But I'm like, I say it's a catch-22. It's like, it really don't matter, like, what you do, because I'm like, in life, I've been around people that say they're trillionaires and billionaires and things like this, and you just never know until you actually see it. Like the person that I knew that was a trillionaire, it actually created a positive aura in my mind when I met somebody that had that much money. They showed me their account, and I'm like, the first thing I said was, I'm coming from a demographic where people are they're greedy and they're looking for a better quality of access of life. I'm like, I'm coming from a place where I have a mom that's complaining about my weight and that she's spending money on my clothes because I'm getting big. But then we've got people out here that are going to Africa feeding kids that may have that possibly, you know what I'm saying? I'm educated, so I don't know what to believe. You see feed the children and all this stuff, and I'm learning stuff from books by a bunch of random people that's going out here doing research that probably have money or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's where my educational value stops. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually learning from a bunch of people that I don't know, and it actually makes sense to me. Just in just having common sense. That's all I got is reading things and actually confirming them and applying it. You know what I'm saying? I got my GD. I barely got that, and I'm like, I'm coming from a place where I was taught that at some point you're going to leave this earth, and I'm going to teach you that people are not going to always be receptive of you. You know what I'm saying? It's all pimpology. It's all pimp culture. You know what I'm saying? Teaching me that, look at the stress that's being created in people all because of an emotional state. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at Master P. Master P is like one of those people we grew up in the ghetto, and it's like he's our god or something, right? We have um drug dealer mentality, things like that. And I feel as though as much as successful as he seemed, he, you know what I'm saying, can't be that bad of a person because people actually like this guy. You know what I'm saying? Because in reality, music is a coping skill for a lot of people. It's selling. He's selling the idea of being from the ghetto. People growing up and people are looking for drugs and you know money and shit like that. And I'm like, supposedly his daughter is dead, and you know I'm not sure if that's true or not because like I said, I've been made a pessimist. Most of the people like him, he's a Creole male. These people, these Geechee people, they celebrate death. And that's why you gotta be careful how you learn because I was made a pessimist by default. Like when I was a kid, I can hear my baby voice in my head right now. I survived my first act of rape culture. I survived my first rape, and I'm going to other people's houses, and they telling me that you're gonna need to learn how to take some dick. Basically, if you're gonna get around this earth, because you can go somewhere where people may not have the common sense to know that you can't just have sex with someone against their own will. And I'm sure there are places that you can go that's like that. And I'm like, I'm not sure, like, they're inbred. People are being diagnosed with Down syndrome, retardation, and people are basically, I watch videos of people in Europe and stuff. There are people, on screen, on video, everybody can look all pixel perfect. I just woke up. This is how I look. And I'm like, when I look at myself, I see all my family members, and I ask myself, there could be somebody that look at me and be like, that's a retard, or, you know what I'm saying? We're human beings. We're internalizing things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really sure what I could do. That's why people will plot on that alone. A lot of these women in my life, I can't relate to them because they're being protected by the idea of their heterosexualism. These women do not think differently than men to me. As much mind games as they try to play, they don't. They know that it's a form of loyalty. Once you have a baby with a man, you as a woman expect loyalty. We grew up around the street mentality. You know, most of the women are shunned and belittled because of naturalism, right? We're viewed as the weaker vessel. And then once you, like, I'm surprised I'm still alive. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen. Because some people want you dead because they can't control you. That's the effect of narcissism. I'm going to die because of pessimism and narcissism, people that can't control me. And I just feel like I shouldn't be shitted on by all these heterosexual people and not come to my own defense when I'm aware of all these dynamics. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people in my life, you have to make choices. People like Lil Romeo told me I run 18 miles a day. And I said, I'm gonna do half of that when I'm in the ghetto, because when you ain't got nothing to do, that's what you should do, exercise. And I'm like, what am I exercising for? Motherfuckers are starving, right? So which one do I do? Do I starve myself or do I eat? What you want to do? I guess, like I'm saying, it's all about your ideology. Everybody, some people um, want to show discipline. I can starve myself even though my body is stressing. My body's stressing from me and having sex with me, but I don't move as fast as I want to, because like right now it's 90 degrees outside and I'm like, I want to go ride this bike trail, but I'm like, my insides feel so dry and I feel like if I can have a heat stroke sitting here trying to be in shape, because you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers will value you more when you have six-pack abs and a rib cage. And I'm like, I have an inferiority complex to men, but not all men, a specific type of man, right? The Creole male, the Geechee nigga. Cause everybody don't look good. Like I formed all kind of paradigms in my mind, and I realized that when I see these damn Indian-looking Chicano men, I'm jealous of these men. Like people like Bargarees, I used to analyze their conversations and make songs out of it and say, I'm not looking at these niggas from the same perspective that, the natural woman would, look at them niggas. And I'm like, I'm sitting here analyzing everything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm realizing that niggas is growing up in the ghetto and they getting love. I'm like, and that's why I'm jealous of some of these niggas, because I feel like I've gotten love. I'm not saying that I'm not getting love, but my inferiority complex to men, I can't control people either. Some of these men, I didn't expect to live this long being the way I look, but it's all about where you raised, because everybody isn't judgmental. You could probably go to Guatemala and something, and that's the least things that they're worried about. They could have AIDS or all these different ideas that we got out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even sure if AIDS is real. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if herpes is real. None of that. All I know is motherfuckers say when you eat meat, so every time I eat meat or drink soda, I'm breaking out in bumps. Right? So you could assume that, well, maybe I got this and then the third. You know what I'm saying? Because scientists and shit like that, these are people that are studying, life, biologists and shit. They studying people and they come up with concepts and words to describe things that they see that may not look consistent, right? That's why, you know, I just feel so dumbed down, because in reality, I'm like, I went to an outdoor therapeutic program, and the first thing I wanted to discuss was educational value. I'm like, most people in my life are not worried about being educated. They're actually worried about impressing other people, right? And I'm like, I've got a girl that pretty much is sitting here, promoting the idea of this and that and the third about me and my family members. I'm like, when I grew up, I called the police a million times and realized that I really had no control over these people. I'm not sure how my little sisters feel about the situation, but we seriously didn't have control over all those men that were having sex with us. And then they were sitting there trying to convince us that we were narcissists, play this mind game with us. I'm like, I'm not no damn narcissist. I'm not horny either. I'm like, I'm about to have a heart attack because of goddamn having an orgasm, because I'm a mental person. I don't want to experience this feeling. So now my body is craving something that I don't want, and I'm feeling see how my eyes are soaking, stressed out. I go to sleep I don't even like beds. I'm sleeping on the floor. That's how bad it is. So now I gotta focus myself, try to listen to some audio books or something, and I'm like, I worry a lot. See, none of us is exempt from nothing. Every day is a gamble for everybody. I don't care how rich or poor you are. That's why I'm like, I'm not sure if I don't think Master P would lie about his daughter being dead, but I'm not even sure, because people are so cutthroat and conniving. It could be like that. He could just be faking his daughter's death because somebody may want her dead because of his identity as a man. And at the end of the day, I just don't know. Like I said, I internalize things. I be on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter just looking up things, and I'm like, you just never know. I'm out there in Aiken, I'm out there in Spartanburg, somebody pulled up on me, put a needle in my arm. For what? I don't understand you heterosexual people. This is the passionate this is where my passion come from. Because from the get-go, I'm like, you got a family, you got all that. What do you need money for? What do you need to hit licks for? You know what I mean? It's the street mentality. Cause when you look at these so-called ghetto relationships, maybe that's what they are. They having a penis swinging contest. That's what I guess the whole idea of being a butch is. Niggas is competing with their women, but ain't no competition in no real relationship. I mean, it shouldn't be when it's surrounded by love. Like I said, love has different definitions too. Somebody was explaining to me that they got, I guess, a revelation that in the Bible. You see the word charity. That's what love is. Giving. Right? Giving. That's what most people are doing. When they're trying to show love, they're giving. And at the end of the day, what kind of heart do you have? Because I grew up around a lot of adults. Some people were teaching me to be manipulative. Some people were teaching me to try to be in love with a man at an early age. And all that shit was dysfunctional. Some people was telling me I need to love a man because of an orgasm. Listen to these songs. Rick Ross, Money Make Me Come and shit like that. That's why I'm like, as a female, as a feminist, all these men playing mind games, I watch how they react to women. Like being locked up in like Marriott or RIDC and shit. Niggas really, the way they was reacting was they felt like they had game. And then all the adults in our life like, yeah, I ran game. Some of these niggas is just, I viewed them as sons. Cause I'm like, you ain't doing that but mocking your parents. You know what I'm saying? Because as a woman, I grew up in the ghetto and I naturally like women. You know what I'm saying? I understood the concept, the idea of being a lesbian. And I'm like, being around pretty people, pretty women and shit that's mixed and shit. And I'm like, from my understanding, I'm a black woman. I'm two-tone. And when I get in the sun, I can get darker. Okay, so when it comes to a colorism complex, now a boy had sex with me. I go over his house to try to play a game, an innocent game, and his mom and dad are making love and having sex. So that's all he know. So he's inspired to have a relationship with a young lady, with somebody, and because that's what he sees. And I'm not sure how a lot of people in the ghetto do have mental issues because we are left in the house. Children are growing up fast, like they say. I guess growing up fast meaning you're doing things that you shouldn't necessarily do, like sex and stuff. I think that's one thing we gotta discuss. Motherfuckers is learning sexuality at an early age and they can't handle it. I'm sitting here being belittled because a man had sex with me, and then at the end of the day, my body is going through all kind of depression because of it. I don't know. Like, what do we do? What do we do about this whole idea of being inbred, and we got a lot of retarded people and shit? What are you gonna do? I'm sitting here thinking about my first stressor was when a boy had sex with me. You know what I'm saying? It stressed my body out. It's a form of stress. I guess that's why people that's Muslims and stuff, they do stuff to discipline themselves. You run. You get your mind off that shit. I personally just really, it's really just hard for me to center my mind. Like, I barely get good sleep because of pig Latin accent. But grew up around these people with this accent, you know. They'll say it's constant learning. You know, when I was a kid, that's what I was learning. I was learning that I come from family members. I'm born into family members that are being viewed as retards, and you know, me being a feminist, it's hard for me to look at a man body and feel like it's the same as mine. I guess I'm promoting, I'm viewing myself as a woman, and I'm uplifting that idea. I'm actually, you know, connected with the idea that I'm better than a man, right? So at the end of the day, you know, you just never know what'll happen out here. You know, most people in the ghetto seem to do the same thing. That's why we're in and out of jail and people are making money off of it. And, you know, because of the idea of a man, I never thought I had loyalty. I'm surprised I'm still alive, and I appreciate my life. I don't care what happens, because at the end of the day, you know, I am being oppressed by the paradigm of heterosexuality. I've always been oppressed by this idea. And, you know, my mom survived. Once she survived me, having me, it's over with. Yeah, I could have some more babies with whomever, because she needs love. You know, a lot of people, my mama wasn't really no ghetto person like that, but we were being sabotaged by a bunch of people that was ghetto. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this whole idea of being ghetto is kind of, you know, outrageous, but it's something. It's a place we grew up in, because we seen there were other places and bigger buildings made out of more quality things, so-called quality thing. You don't know. It's just, I don't know. Ain't no telling, man. Like I said, I got a bunch of people after I started stressing from, you know, pretty much a male having sex with me. It pretty much, you know, internalizing all these people, you know, realizing, looking at my cousin. I just made a post where I think, you know, a boy up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whatever, you know, that's where a lot of my family go to. You know, a lot of times the South has a stigma, so a lot of the people in my family was sitting there telling me, they was promoting the idea that I was an inbred up north, and you know, saying that I'm going up north and I'm disguising myself as this and that, and people are thinking that I'm normal. You know, just like I've been around people, you know, from Europe and stuff, and you know, people stigmatize me. I'm a black woman. I'm like, if I lose all my body fat, I'ma still look the same, but people will view me in a different aspect. They will, you know, most people, when they think of women that are thick and shit, it's a stigma that come with it, and I just feel like, you know, I should discipline myself and lose all my body fat, and people will take me in differently. You know what I'm saying? I got this tattoo on my neck. It says "product of abuse," because I pretty much did grow up surviving rape culture and actual rape, actual crime of rape. And, you know, being an intellect, people can really justify things with things. You know what I'm saying? There is an idea of corrective rape out here. You know, once a woman experiences an orgasm, they promote the idea that you can have affection for a man, but I've never expressed any affection for a man, not genuinely anyway. Most of the things I've done has showed that I pretty much am jealous of men. You know, this rapper named Ball Greasy, I'm sitting here analyzing his conversation. I'm like, man, I wish I was a Geechee nigga. It seems like this shit is natural for y'all. Let me put a little tune to these words that you're saying. That's your flow. I'm sitting here analyzing somebody's presence, somebody's aura, somebody's essence. And I'm like, damn, this nigga really, this shit natural for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm growing up in the ghetto and I'm viewing myself as no different than a man. And I'm like, I'm learning, you know, races and stuff like that. And you just never know what people are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these black looking people, you can be dark skinned, light skinned, pecan, butter, pecan, whatever the fuck you is, and be mixed with all kind of shit. From my understanding, I'm just a black person. My dad is more lighter complexion than my mom. And pretty much I'm like, a lot of people are not gonna die in vain, you know. whoever Zonique was. I'm not sure who that was, but it supposed to be Master P's daughter, right? And I'm like, if she is gone, she had a voice. And I think that that's one thing we have to appreciate. No matter how much pain we got, a lot of people have voices. You know what I'm saying? All these damn Creole women and men and shit have influenced my life. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I know Master P, you know, everybody knows him as the dude from the ghetto. And I'm like, I'm sure he understands from an intellectual perspective that people are going to die because of dysfunctionality. Let's discuss that. Dysfunctionality. I can't, as a person, let people keep walking all over me. I grew up getting bitched a lot. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this book. I'm a big skeptic. That's where my educational value lays. I always doubt myself. You just never know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if some lady named Miss Jackson showed me a book called what's it called? Bad Things Happen to Good People. And I'm like, if bad things happen to good people, I think that it's your choice whether you want to come to your own defense or not. You know what I'm saying? I think if all these men are out here being viewed as street niggas and they going around killing men and women, and but everybody, some people are in denial about the love that they're getting. So what they're trying to preach from a mature standpoint is, from my understanding, well, as long as you're getting love, there's a certain level of maturity that you should have. I don't care what happens to you. You're getting love. You're getting out of jail. There are some people that don't have moms and dads. Let's respect them more. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard, because I'm like, if all these people out here committing all these damn crimes, main thing they want, from my understanding, is respect. They want to be valued. They want to be respected. When I walk in the room, you watch shit like Pimp Snoopy, I want you to honor me. Narcissism. Right? I'm like, I was told that the comprehension level for people down south is very low. And I'm like, it's because of stress. It's because of mind games. It's because people ain't coming together. I do stuff like cuss my grandma out and stuff because at the end of the day, they have taken losses. But I'm like, if I did grow up spoiled, what I'm trying to figure out is, there's a certain level of stress that I experience from men having sex with me. And I really do believe that since they taught me to believe in God, He's the reason why it don't show up on my body. Most people from the ghetto do have a macho type mentality. I'm about to go out here and try to ride this bike trail for I don't know how long, and see how long my body will last without passing out. Good thing I see people. I worry a lot. So is there a way that we can have this new, like these new generations of babies growing up? Can we have less stressed out people? Because I was seeing a man saying, I guess I'm being a pessimist when I say I lack courage, but some man named Chi Ali said I can run for 12 hours a day and not breathe harder than nothing. And that's what I guess being macho is about. I'm not sure how long this bike trail going, but I'm going a little bit at a time. That's what being wise does. Like, there's houses right there in case I get thirsty or something, feel like I'm about to pass out, I can go knock on somebody's door. But when you come in the ghetto, this whole sense of pride thing is the reason why you don't want to do shit like that. Because that's what they want. They want me to be macho and shit. Right? Like the whole idea of being a butch. All these women in my life is pretty much saying, I want you to be a man. I want to see far, how masculine you can get. And I'm like, all these women want to protect themselves like men, and then there are men that are complaining. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here saying that, a woman cannot keep a sense of femininity if she's crossing boundaries, I guess, when it comes to working out and shit like that. That's why I take my time, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I called the police on my cousins and shit, and I'm like, at some point he experienced the orgasm and he became addicted to it. Because that's what I learned. I learned that there were men out there that would prey on me and I would flirt with them on purpose. And the response would be, well, you know you want this dick. I, as a human being, want to change that paradigm. I want men to stop thinking sexually. That's what I want. I'm like, why are you responding in this way? Why you can't just value me? Because this idea of being a pimp and a player is out here. It happened naturally. I cannot judge my cousin because this is what he going to be viewed as. When I learned the concept of feminism, I was sitting there telling people, making up words as a kid, just me and a little girl. Well, perhaps he's a masculinist. I mean, the word don't really sound right, but it kind of do, right? When you think of the word masculine, I'm not sure where the word derives from, but everybody in the hood is pretty much trying to, doing macho shit. Motherfucker can say Lil Romeo running, what, 18 miles a day is a masculine behavior, but in reality, it's a form of discipline. Because I'm not sure how a man works when it comes to having an orgasm, but I'm like, I'm not necessarily a man. I mean, most women are kind of viewed in the same aspect as me growing up in the ghetto, but I'm like, he has a penis. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here being taught that people are trying to play mind games with me as far as the concept. Trying to make me see a difference between me and a man. And I'm like, it's about survival out here. If I go out here and I run this bike trail and I don't get ate up by a cub, I appreciate the little stuff. When I see women do, I'm on feminist, so when I see women do shit more, it's very detoxing. You know what I'm saying? There's a lady out there on one of those little tractors things, and I'm like, they out searching for bears and shit, and they have to figure out if I want to kill it or not, just in case there's people walking up and down the trail and making sure nothing happened to them. 9 times out of 10, they won't get eaten by a bear today because there's somebody walking up and down actually looking for this. You just never know. And I have a mom, and from all these dynamics that's around me, I always be wanting to ask her. I don't talk to my mom much, but I be wanting to ask her, what should I do with my life? You know what I'm saying? Jeannie told me to get my education. Obviously, my mom was experiencing some type of stress because when I was in third grade, we went to therapy. And at the end of the day, we were going against the grains of our emotions. Unlike she was taught to keep quiet about everything. That's the ghetto mindset. There was nobody, I guess, she didn't feel like she got a lot of love. Everybody got their own issues. I don't know. But money is the solution to every nigga's problem in the ghetto. And at the end of the day, when somebody say they want you dead, you believe them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a threat to heterosexuality. And I just feel like if somebody tell me that they want me dead, I'm not finna sit here and belittle you and say I don't believe you. Because I do. What comes with that? Because a lot of people in the ghetto, look at movies like Baby Boy, analyze people's personality. You can't play with everybody like that. Because in reality, once a person view you as a killer or something like that, you might not even be a killer. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the mind games that go on in the ghetto. Motherfucker can make you look like something. Somebody came up on me and rubbed my hands on a gun. Like, this whole idea of being gangster is so cliche to me. Like, I be laughing at people. Like I was seeing Master P talk about that. I'm like, man, ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody lame no more. It don't make sense to me neither. I'm like, some people it come from them natural. Master P has success. Like I said, I actually like Master P because, you know, these Creole people have a certain essence. They look right to me. And anybody that's not a Geechee person, rocking jewelry and shit, we just don't look right to me. And I'm like, when I be trying to swag, these are the first people that I think of. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit is natural for them. You know what I'm saying? I do not see ungeechified people as having swag. They have an aura. I see them rub off on us. We feel like we have swag, but they are the primary source of the reason why we feel this way. Because they just look right. But I mean, it just, you know what I'm saying? I haven't formed many paradigms in my mind. I ain't that smart. I ain't that dumb. And, you know, my answer to everything is to go out and work out like anybody. Make sure your body's in shape for survival. Most men are lucky because there are women. I view myself as a chauvinist in reverse psychology because there are women that want to cater to men, submit to them, and read books to them. You know what I'm saying? When you grow up in the ghetto and you introduce to sexuality early, this is the reason why I envy actual manhood, and I'm glad this whole Butch film dynamic exists because, from my understanding, most women need the approval of a man, right, in a heterosexual relationship, and then say you a nigga did prison time, your detox is a girl, right? A girl with a soft voice be like, baby, I'll help you get you a goddamn a GED. I'll help you do this. But it's something you do for yourself. You see, I grew up in the ghetto and every man ain't built the same. I'm not finna say that all men are just like that, but so most men do shit on their own. Most people do shit on their own. You know what I'm saying? It's up to me. If I want to get my body in shape, I'm getting in shape. But I'm always feel inferior to a man, no matter what I do. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I said these Geechee people, this shit happen natural for them. A lot of them, you know, a lot of people do get gang ran on them. Some people really, I guess I could tell by the way that women in the ghetto grow up and act. We want to give our credibility for our solidity for manhood. But it just depends on how many men are lifting you. A lot of people grow up in the ghetto and just saying our cousins and shit are teaching us how to be betrayed by men and how to handle situations when we ain't around to protect you. What you gonna do? Playing mind games. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm an intellect, and from an intellectual perspective, I don't understand why I personally would want to be with a man. You know what I'm saying? Just because niggas be having the time of their life, and I actually enjoy the essence of manhood. I was listening to Fat 400, and I was just like, man, niggas just be going around going through shit. I know niggas go through a lot of shit, and I'm like, niggas really be rapping and shit. Like I try to do my little rap thing, but I'm like, I could never be a Geechee nigga. I could never just be a man. I'm like, just from an intellectual perspective, I would have way more confidence if I was an actual man. I'm like, I feel like I'm piggybacking off niggas. And I'm like, I'm not. And I'm mad because when I get around other females, they feel like I'm judging them. That's the stigma on the relationship between women. And I'm like, women are thinking I'm judging them because of, I'm like, I don't see no difference between these men and these women. They wanted to look like that, but it ain't. It's a loyalty factor, man. I'm like, the reason why I'm mad is because I've been tamed more by the male species than the female species. There isn't a certain, I don't feel fearful when I'm around women. I feel fearful when I'm around men. These men are more muscle because I'm like, I'm watching all these videos, all these men. I add a lot of men on Instagram that work out and shit like that. And I'm like, they seem to achieve a more masculine appeal than a woman can. And I'm like, I actually embrace butch women that go out of they get in shape. But like I said, this whole concept of manhood is what I'm jealous of. I'm like, that girl doing all that shit so she can make sure she can protect herself from a man. And I'm like, it really ain't gonna matter if I do it or not. You know what I'm saying? I feel as though, like eating meat and shit, that's something that I want to stop doing because I'm like, it thickens you up. But I'm like, if I was stuck in the middle of nowhere, I would want to have some type of solid foods in my system to survive. No, 9 times out of 10, I'm dehydrated. So clean water is all I need. I was saying that shit when I went to a program. I'm like, my mom complained about me getting big, but we eat 3 times a day. This is natural for us. We have a routine. I'm like, if you don't want me to eat, then I won't. Now, if I pass out of something from dehydration, boom, because I'm like, you're creating a paradigm in me. You're creating a routine in me. And once my body gets tired of it, it gets tired of it. Like I said, I grew up and I got a lot of men that had sex with me, adults, kids, and shit like that. And it really tired my body out. And I'm like, if I don't learn some type of mental focus, exercise was my mental focus, you know what I'm saying? I could die. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I went to sleep last night. I just woke up and I just need to stretch more. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I can't change the fact that these men are having sex with me. You know what I'm saying? It's a stressor for your body. A lot of women want to make it seem that I think that's why a lot of women are making a profit off of, having sex with men because it's not all that. But it would be nice to have this whole fantasy of being with a man or being with a woman and being in love and everything just feels so positive. That's what I mean by feeling detox. I get around certain people and I feel detox. But now I'm mad because there is a certain fear that's instilled in me from other women because of men. And I'm like, being that I've seen men achieve more masculine appeal than women, there's this inferiority complex. There is somewhat of a difference in my mind. Like, damn, this nigga muscular as hell. And I get around a thin nigga and I be like, nah, that nigga quick though. You know what I'm saying? That's how they want me to be. That's the niggas that I grew up with, these women and shit that I'm growing up around. I just feel like we all mocking manhood. Period, point blank. And I'm like, motherfuckers will size you up based off the way you look. And I'm like, it don't matter how much muscle I put on and shit like that. I'm a very mental person. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here trying to make sure that I'm not thinking about all these people with facial prejudice and shit. When I see my cousin, I see the product of an inbred relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's agitating. But I viewed, you know, it just depends. You know what I'm saying? Some people, just fucked up in the mind. Everybody in my life wants street credibility and shit like that. And I'm like, listen, people get high and shit happen. You know what I'm saying? You get high and you be like, you want me dead. I'm like, listen, I understand the dynamics out here. A girl told me that a girl told me that a girl told me that she wanted me dead based off a man. See, that's what my trigger is. See, motherfuckers look at me and they might see a girl that they think I'm feminine, but my mind ain't nowhere near that. I'm a full blown lesbian. I'm not sure how to handle it. I don't know if my mom and I caught a body or not, but I'm not nothing like her in the aspect that she won't just tell me if she has came to her own defense in some type of way. She has 4 kids. I'm like, she's very mature, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, this person said they want me dead, and they literally said it in my face. So I'm like, and that when they told me I didn't even have no gun on me, I'm sitting in a room full of people, and I don't know. I'm like, motherfuckers want me dead all because I don't want to be with a man. I'm like, I never want to satisfy a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look at all this. Look at these videos and shit. These men to be having the time of their life. I'm like, I guess there's got to be some type of jealousy aspect to me. And I'm like, growing up in the ghetto, you really don't want to be, you I mean, why wouldn't you be jealous of men? Niggas go to hotel rooms, hit little licks, have money, and have fun. That's what it seemed to me. So, I mean, but that's how it works. You know, you can get yourself in some shit because motherfuckers grow up in the ghetto. They might hit a lick and be like, man, I don't want to get found out. So, let me just throw her this and that and the third. That's how it happened for me. I swear to God, somebody gave me, I don't know, I was in the house and it was a bag full of money. And I took that shit and I ran up and down the street with it. I looked at that shit a million times and realized that I was submissive to money. I'm like, I feel protected by the identity of a dollar. I don't know who money it was, but I'm like, you gonna mean to tell me you gonna put me in a room full of money and expect me not to want it? That's how people do though. Motherfucker want to be muscle. I'm listening to people like Plies and shit from Florida, and I'm like, it don't matter. Y'all niggas sitting here playing all these damn mind games. These drug cartels and shit out here, that's how they do. They set up in people's houses and they go around and everybody is a drug dealer living in the neighborhood and they go around and they set up shop in people's houses. These niggas is having kids by baby. That's why I don't like people, some of these niggas, cause I'm like, look. If a bitch have a baby for you, there's a loyalty factor that's there. Motherfuckers, I'm like, I can tell the way some women be acting that they really do want to be just like the men, but I'm like that I can see the difference between, like, it's a girl I used to like, and I'm like, I could tell by the way she thinking that she trying to think like me, but she really ain't. That girl ain't thinking like me. She got children by men and shit. I'm like, that girl ain't nothing like my ass. I'm like, that girl just see a girl when she look at me and she think I'm supposed to sit here and do this and then the third. Like, it's niggas out here. You know, like, that girl gonna be able to use muscle on me. And I'm like, see how the way I come off, people think I'm muscle because I'm black. And I come off like this, that, and the third. Somebody told me I came off like this and that and the third, the queen pin. I'm like, bitch, I ain't no damn queen pin. I gotta look this shit up a million times. I watched the movie and everything, the little ghetto movie. Queen pin to me ain't nothing but a prostitute. And you can sit here and play all these mind games and shit if you want to. But if you feel like you getting love, you give love. I'll give love to a bitch that say she a queen pin. Because at the end of the day, it is a certain level of love, I guess. You in the street, you getting street love. You helping niggas get plays. You helping niggas hit licks. You basically living the life of a man to me. You know what I'm saying? I respect the whole idea of being a queen pin in that aspect from my understanding. But I'm like, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Just like when a nigga called me a bitch. Who you calling a bitch? It's Queen Latifah type shit. That's how I feel. Like, I want to see how strong her mind is. The games that the repetitive shit that go on in the ghetto is something I guess I grew up learning. I'm glad that about everything I've been going through and been through, because in reality that's what it was supposed to teach me: tough love, tough skin. I'm like, I haven't had a heart attack or a stroke yet, and I'm not finna try to be macho. I'm finna go out here and my phone say it's goddamn. It was saying it was like 90 degrees outside. Let me see what this shit say. I don't know what it is now, but I'm about to go out here and try to run and shit. I mean, not run, but ride my bike. That's a start. Like I said, a lot of these men, they muscle out here. I seen men, try to play mind games with women. And, women do push-ups and shit too. But niggas are more encouraged to internalize it emotionally in a way. That's what I was trying to tell people. I'm like, motherfuckers would be like, I'm gonna beat the hell out my son. I'm gonna be more hard on my son than my daughters, because in reality, just the idea of natural, this promotes the idea that men are more stern than women. When in reality, when we get rid of that whole mind game, we'll be alright. Can't play that one with me. Like I say, I ain't that tough or strong. I be worried about if I'm, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, because a motherfucker get their head whooped dead. I watch female boxing, and I'm like, I can't take offense to no woman. Not no other woman. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't give a fuck. But that's why I like some women, because I'm like, when I see a man trying to make two women fight, I'm like, this is what I don't want. I do not want these niggas to feel like they controlling us. I want like that's how it is. I guess that's what a butch is. Me trying to be receptive of the idea of a butch, even though she living a hetero, she still falling under that. I guess a bisexual woman. I'm like that. What gonna come with the game? Because I'm like it don't matter how much dick I done took and that like that. I'm still gay. You feel me? Cause motherfuckers out here trying to force that shit on me. You know, I care about my little sister. If I see them smoking a blunt, I'm gonna hit it one time. I don't really like smoking weed like that because, you know, depending on how potent it is, I can't really handle that shit based off the fact that I value myself at this pure state. I even seen a damn roster man saying that shit ain't good for you. I'm glad they made a video like that, because I ain't saying it ain't good for you. It's medication. It's okay to smoke weed, but I'm just saying once your body experiences a certain level of stress and like you know what I'm saying? Like me, you just lay around all day and you indulge in that stress and it just feels worse. It's certain things you can't do, overindulge in. You know what I'm saying? I value myself at its purest form, so I was taught that smoking ain't good for you, especially tobacco. But weed feel different. Like I said, there are crimes I'm surviving associated with marijuana, and that's what they want to do. They want to traumatize me. But I'm glad that I'm experiencing this level of stress because I'm realizing that I can survive it. You know, niggas, that's what the hood is about. Niggas get up every day and at any waking moment, I just want to get up and see, well, I wonder if so-and-so gonna try to come rob me today. That's how niggas is in the ghetto. And I'm like, I ain't a threat to a whole family. These niggas got 17 kids and shit like that. And I'm like, listen, I did not expect to be alive. Seriously. With all these people and all this loyalty that they got. I did not expect to be alive. And I'm like, You know what I'm saying? I'm a very mental person. All these people at checkers I was working with, I can't stop thinking about they goddamn facial goddamn presences. And I ain't saying they ugly or I ain't saying they pretty, but I'm just saying that this is the fucked up part about me stressing about these damn Geechee people because they have an accent. And it's just, you know what I'm saying? I love it, but it's a stressor at the same damn time. This is why I told myself I'm gonna die in Creole history, because at the end of the day, these people are a part of my life, and I'm sitting here analyzing their way of being. So, like I said, I ain't no threat to these people's families, and I'm like, I ain't expect to be here this long. You know, I can't connect with my mom's paradigm. She got 4 girls, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Shit, I live my life on edge. I don't know what's gonna happen to me. I'm like, you just said you want me dead. How you think I feel? When I see women having sex with men, I just be like, I wonder if they feel the same way I do internally. Like I said, like I got 2 little sisters by a man who had a baby. So one of them name was Jimmy, one of them name was Jamel. One side of his body was fucked up. I don't know. They said he had a stroke in his mama's stomach. Shit like that we come from, niggas. Everybody can't handle stress like that. Cause I be telling people like I'm a very mental person, and when it comes to being educated and understand that we are retards and inbreds and shit, I'm like, damn, I can't stop thinking about this person's face because I view them as a retard. I'm like, sometimes I look at my face and I'll be like, I think I might be a retard. Am I internalizing these people's facial expressions? Am I inbred? Am I autistic? You never know. I don't know, but I'm just gonna vent away. Like I said, one of them songs that one thing that most people do in the ghetto and have fun is barbecues, and when that show Run's House is a reflection of how it is when you growing up in the ghetto and you trying to have fun. That song can't keep running away. I remember I was watching that show and they had a goddamn pool party. Those are the moments that we value. And that's why I'm mad, because I'm like, once you become um, a criminal or you do some criminal activity, you're gonna be viewed in the aspect that you don't want to. And I'm like, I'm only surviving. I'm like, I'm growing up in the ghetto, and sometimes in the ghetto there are police officers that are not brave enough to come because they care about themselves. I'm not finna go over there, them folks over there clowning. Then motherfucker, my mama had a job, they sitting there trying to make a mockery out of her, trying to fit in with all the other people in the ghetto that might be too far gone. What's in the ghetto? Ghetto children, niggas going around raping women and shit, women forgiving them, and they won't give women. These men better get they bitches they street credibility, because at the end of the day, these women ain't no different than these men. I don't think so anyway. I mean, I can't just be letting people do shit to me. If a nigga stick a needle in my arm, I'm about to kill one of your children or something. Because if that means you want me dead. These straight, I am not a threat to heterosexual. I promise you. I predicted my own death. I said I'm probably gonna die from AIDS. I'm probably gonna die from not having enough money, stressing about people, my mom and little sisters. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen, because it's all these paradigms out here, and everywhere I go, I gotta live my life on eggshells. Somebody could put something in my drink because they got pulled, because they're a good person. You know, it goes back to that book I was telling you about. Bad things happen to good people. Now, don't get me wrong. You might be a good person, and then you might be a good cop, right? It's good and bad. It's a mind game. But then you have to kill somebody because of your own ideology. Like, yeah, I'm about to kill them for lieutenant or whatever for captain because I agree with this shit that's going on right now. This is part of my job, and if I do, I get away with it. Y'all said the system is a rehabilitation center. It's the same thing as being inside your house in the ghetto. Motherfuckers walk around, do their rounds, and they get out. It's all in your mind. And if you get somebody to sympathize with you, somebody sympathizing with you. And at the end of the day, that's why I don't like having people I grow up with, because I'm an honest person. A lot of people in the ghetto are not honest. And that's why they won't get valued by me. Because I'm like, you sitting here trying to hide this and then the third. I'm like, why are you kissing on me? Why are you rubbing against me? You don't know what I got. I can have some shit that gonna kill your ass. Niggas gotta, you know what I'm saying? I watch people like Lil Romeo. I know I had, like, you know, would sit there and analyze their conversation with women and realize that I could never just be the real man. And I'm just like, it fucked up because niggas like Lil Romeo, we feel like, oh, he done made it and shit. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'll be watching videos of him at his little household having fun and shit. And I feel sorry for him, because what happened is some random dude kill your cousin or your sister or something. You gotta figure out if you gonna retaliate or not. That's what niggas in the ghetto fighting over. You can be fighting me, you can fight anybody. Be like, man, you killed so and so, cause so I'm like, what, so and so? I'm like, so and so said they wanted me dead. Y'all sitting here claiming GD. I'm like, these women that are having babies by these men and shit just by default. I know y'all want to see these niggas kill me because y'all feel like these niggas fuck with me. I don't feel like these niggas fuck with me. You see what I'm saying? I'm still a woman with no children and shit. So technically, I'm a gay person. I'm like, these niggas ain't loyal to me. They think these niggas loyal to me because my pussy might be tight or wet and good and shit. Nah, I'm not looking at it in that aspect. I'm sitting here looking at this man like I'm a man too. Looking at a man like, man, I know for a fact you want me dead because you want money. You want hoes, you want cars, you want clothes. That's all you want. And I'm like, that's what motherfucker tell me. You can't go around making threats. I'm like, well, shit, I'm gonna have to take my chance because I'm like, if I get a gun, I'm gonna shoot somebody who said they want me dead because I fear death. That's the difference between me and have these niggas in my life. I said these niggas that ain't never been raped and sodomized, they gonna experience a certain level of stress when they die. That's why I'm jealous of. Now I can look at me and like I said, I was watching Lil Romeo on the video and I'm like, I can see, his eyes sunken in a little bit. I can tell he be stressing or maybe he got his ass whooped or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Some people aren't taught the concept of fear. I can tell by the way they be acting, or we make it look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm surprised I never had a seizure. Like right now, I want some water. My brain is feeling a little overwhelmed. I know if you talk to my little sister, I stress in my sleep. That's why I'm about to go out here and work out. And I told myself I don't want to be muscular because I don't want to be. I'm a lesbian. I don't want to be scared of women. All that shit. Once you get tamed by a certain level of masculinity, you know what I'm saying? That ain't some shit that's a detox for you. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like I said, I know that there's a paradigm of heterosexuality out here, and there are women that really want to form a bond with men and want them to knock me out based off the fact that motherfuckers be like, man, I want Sade dead. I need you to do this for me. I want to see if I can get my nigga to kill this bitch because I respect my nigga gangster. I got a baby by him and everything. It's a loyalty thing. Just like some lady was telling me, I'm from Monroe County. I never heard of Monroe, Georgia, but I looked it up and she was like, man, you go down there, they gonna make you have sex with a man. Them men be raping bitches and shit. That's how the system work. I'm like, you think I ain't no dummy? Hurricane Katrina happened. They probably had people escaping jail because of shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? Once all these men is muscle out here, once you build enough muscle, you can strong enough. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm telling you, it's a loyalty factor with women. That's why I said when it comes to me being a woman, I'm trying to understand, like, think about it. I think about scenarios like this. What if you're a woman and you locked up in Hurricane Katrina or something like that happened, and then there's a man that's more muscular and stronger than you that can break you out of jail? Would you have sex with him based off desperation? That's basically what I was being taught, right? You can have sex with a man and it can benefit you. You're either gonna be a prostitute or you're just gonna be a woman that's benefiting off manhood. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to learn is I like the girl and I'm trying to figure out when I look at a woman and I think she cute, what I naturally worry about how a man is treating her. Like I wonder if that nigga might be player, but is he running game on her? So that's what I was trying to figure out with some of these bitches. I'm like, some of these niggas is not running game on some of these hoes because some of these hoes can't have game ran on them. So at the end of the day, I'm like, I ain't no threat to heterosexuality. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want nobody touching on me the wrong way. I'm like, me and my little sister have all took Jimmy's dick. Right? I've took Devon's dick, TJ's dick, all these people in my family that's supposed to be retarded and shit. Look at my arm. I know you can't see it. Look at my arm. Now, somebody stuck a needle in my arm. I don't know if they heroin addicts or what they is. But that's how niggas do. They want to mess you. They want to fuck up what you got going on. I'm like, I always imagined that I was gonna die from this, then the third. I haven't did any research on any STDs and shit, but I can look at myself and tell. I try to take care of myself, but I'm like, ain't no telling what I got. Ain't no telling. I'm like, I see Jamaican people working in hospitals and shit. I'm like, Derek gang, you don't know what people's educational value is. But look at my arm. Motherfuckers sticking needles in my arm. All these polka dots on me. Ain't no telling what that shit is. All I can do is rub some cocoa butter on it and ask the doctor for a tetanus shot. Right? That's one of them shots that clears your system out, right? I don't even know how to pronounce it. But that's what niggas in the hood is doing. They living their mind on edge. I don't know what I got. And then I still have people that want to rub against me and flirt with me and shit. And I'm like, that's the reason why we so ignorant. Cause it is people out here with shit like that. I watched the movie Pandora's Box and shit, and I'm like, motherfuckers is walking around here still having sex and shit, and they got all kind of shit going on in their system. I'm like, it's not about sex with me. I'm sitting here viewing people like Lil Romeo as an idol. Most of the men in my neighborhood, when I was seeing, I'm locked up and I'm seeing them want to be pimps, and then I see the women, us on the female part. I'm like, they really think they thinking differently than us. I'm like, don't none of these niggas got swag to me. They just boys. You know what I'm saying? I looked at these niggas like a son, and I'm pretty sure they moms did too, because I'm like, that boy, this, then the third. I said, everybody ain't got it. Like, when you see Master P in person, I'm like, these Geechee niggas, they got swag. I don't give a fuck I don't give a fuck how much they try not to, how much they try to clear their accent up. These niggas got swag. Everybody ain't got that natural flow like this. You know what I'm saying? Every man ain't got soul. That's why Master P out here doing his thing. And, you know, he had my deepest sympathy on everything he going through, because in reality, he ain't no threat to society neither. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, motherfucker hate on you, he seemed like the nigga that made it in the ghetto. And I said, I don't know if his daughter did or not. I don't even believe that shit, because I feel like he too much muscle for that to happen. But he can't control his children and shit. If they out here threatening people and shit, they probably did get on a high horse because of his career success. They didn't expect it, because when I listen to his music, I'm like, damn, they just sound like a regular person in the ghetto rapping about everyday life. And, you know what I'm saying? I feel somewhat guilty as a person that grew up in the hood, because in reality, when I seen that 98 million views on YouTube for that Wanna Be a Baller song, that shit really touched me, because I'm like, I don't care how many niggas is dying, what they die from, heart attack, stroke, AIDS, COVID-19. You got a voice. 98 million views, that's a lot of neighborhoods playing this shit over and over again. That's a lot of people. You know, it may or may not be a billion people walking this earth, but that is a lot of love, whether it's negative or not. That is a lot of love. I mean, I know people be like, people doing shit for YouTube views and Instagram likes. No. I don't care what you do on this earth, you're going to get love. Some kind of way, some kind of form. Y'all say, when I was locked up in Cobb County, from my understanding, they made it seem like it was just one. Like, all of us in here, it seemed like I'm in there and it seemed like one person was getting put on a pedestal, and I'm trying to figure out why. I'm like, I felt competent with this person simply because I felt like he was getting too much love. And that's why in the hood, people are getting knocked out, because I'm like, this nigga got the pull to just tell some random person to knock me out. But he ain't, his manhood ain't gonna let him do it, because at the end of the day, I'm still a female. And I'm like, at the end of the day, maybe he does support the idea of lesbianism, or maybe he doesn't. Or is he really, I'm like, he a boy, he really on a high horse because a woman giving him some pussy and some head. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, I ain't had no boyfriend and shit. I helped these niggas promote the idea of their manhood. Because I was out there in Mississippi telling the nigga, I'm like, that's all niggas doing, hanging out with pretty women and making songs. Let's make a hotel room song about how we like pussy. Let's do it. Cause that's how you doing. I wrote that song Tango Red. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Let's Cheat Tonight. Put my bra on. That was the summer jam for all the little couples hanging out in the ghetto. And I just want to say that I've been through a lot of shit because of autistic people. And I don't even I don't even know if I'm autistic. Shit, I might be. I feel slowed down. I just went up there to goddamn checking and he was telling me to reapply for my damn job. I'm like, I don't know what you goddamn do. To be honest with you. Brush my damn teeth. I'm like, I'm about to goddamn brush my teeth. I don't even wash my face no more. I do that shit with my hands, man. That's why I'm learning when it comes to controlling bacteria and shit. It's only so much you can do. Ain't no telling what. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather die by the hands of a woman than a man. Because when I die, there's some beautiful women that I done seen in my life that I'm going to think about to try not so it won't feel so bad. You know, there was a guy named Tommy and shit, and he was sitting there trying to play mind games with me, telling me I need to stay in the house. Now all the boys go out and protect and shit. And I'm like, I get that whole aspect, and I actually support the idea of it. But I'm like, you sitting here playing a mind game with me, so when I die, I'm gonna have a seizure because I'm sitting here thinking that it's wrong to be treated in a certain aspect. Oh, I want no conformance anyway, but I'm just saying, for most men that I grew up around, it's love when they get their ass whooped by a man, right? It's love. My dad loved me. He beat the fuck out of me. I wasn't internalizing that ideology no different than the men in my family. And that's why I was mad because I'm like, this nigga is a man. He really wants to be masculine. And he really wants a feminine detox from women. You know, most people are more than what meets the eye. When you see me, you see a bitch with a raggedy shirt on, and people will judge you based off the way you look. And that's what's gonna stop criminality when we stop doing that shit. Motherfucker telling me, you need to stop eating so much. I'm complaining about my body weight. I'm like, you gotta think win-win. You gotta think, if you get stranded somewhere with no food, you're gonna appreciate every ounce of fat you got on your body, because that was gonna keep your ass alive. I actually feel sorry for thin people because unless they haven't been exposed to too much shit that'll stress them out, like cigarette smoking shit, you'll survive. But I live on this earth and we got trash all over the place. The air quality is not 100%. I know because I smell trashy food and shit. I'm realizing that all this vegan shit I'm in, this shit smell like trash. I appreciate Checkers Restaurant because everybody from the ghetto does, you know what I'm saying, the varsity and shit. I grew up off this shit. But in essence, when you're conscious about things like veganism and meat having turned into organisms and shit, you don't want to eat it too much. And that's why I'm like, this shit smell like straight up trash. I feel like I'm eating the odor that I smell that ooh. I ate too much cheese and shit. But you gotta eat. What are you doing? You gotta eat. Don't give me no lame. See, that's the old chicken commercial. Y'all know nothing about this shit. I'm a 90s baby. 7 Up and all that shit. Well, 7 Up, Sierra Mist, that was a detox from drinking all that damn Sprite. You know how sometimes you get tired of repetition? Like I said, my body stresses more than a man in my mind. Just being a feminist, I feel like men don't stress as much because they have penises. And I equated breast and penis having the same way of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I think of a penis, I think it's the same as breast because I guess when your nipples get hard, I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. It's the same thing. I don't know what it means when your nipples get hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? They just be loose, and then sometimes you can catch your nipple getting hard. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm a full-blown lesbian, and I ain't no average woman from the ghetto that just want to be with a nigga. I couldn't be with no nigga without being jealous of him. I'm not gonna waste your time. I mean, when you're from the ghetto, people like Lil Romeo, somebody hit me up. Don't you expect people to die? That's what we're looking at. Ricky! That's what we expect. The reason why I hate men so much is because I feel like they don't stress as much as us. Because they're not, most of them not taught to. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a situation where I had some man was sitting there really trying to put stipulations on my mind and tell me that them men was gonna survive better than me simply because they were men. It's a mind game. Be careful who you raise your kids. You know what I say? When I die, I'm gonna have a seizure because of this nigga. Because I'm sitting here and I'm going places that people want to fight. And I'm like, I'm not taught. Somebody told me that I shouldn't be taught. I need to behave like a young lady. I'm like, nah, you want to be all masculine and have a feminine detox. I'm not finna be shit for a man. I'm not finna calm no nigga down with my pussy hole or talk to no nigga or none of that shit. Because that ain't how I raised myself. I raised my damn self to be gay. Whether it was watching Jerry Springer or not. Tommy wasn't nobody special to me. And I really hate him for sitting there trying to put stipulations on my mind. I'm like, nah, that nigga just want to feel like a man. And so do I. So my reverse psychological detox would be for a man treat me like a woman. I'm like, I just want to mess me up. A female treat me like a man. I'm like, y'all want to mess me up in every arena, score me in every arena when it comes to the concept of manhood. Alright, cool. Death is something that I fear. But I guarantee you, all the men I grew up around don't fear death like that because it's something that's to be expected. Like I say, those people in New Orleans, they celebrate that shit. That's why I hate men so much. Actual men. Because, I don't know, let me stop putting them on a pedestal because of this Tommy guy. Because I'm like, when I be watching them videos, that shit is inspired by real life. Ricky! Motherfucker shaking and shit. But guess what? That's what I want. Motherfucking Ricky had love when that shit happened. I'm so gay to the point where when I die, if my mama was on my side, it's not gonna be a detox for me. Not emotionally. I'm serious. And that's fucked up. I hate to say that. But my mom probably don't think ain't nobody gonna be there for her either. People think I be talking crazy. I don't, because at the end of the day, my mama, I don't know. I don't know how my little sister feel, but when we not around each other, we call and check up on each other. We got each other's numbers, and I'm like, I don't know we care about each other or not. We try. Mm-hmm. I'm like, these little straight girls, they really want respect from women. That's gonna be my downfall. Cause I like women too. And I'm like, half these women in my life are doing shit to me so I can reject them. And I'm like, man, I can tell if a woman have a baby by a man, she straight. It's over with. I'm like, even if she really was like a butch or whatever, motherfucker really want me dead. I'm like, these bitches think they trying to impress men at the end of the day. That shit weak to me. I am not just saying that shit. Motherfuckers, these women really think that it's normal to be with men, multiple men. You got loyalty. That's why I'm like, man, all these men, they ain't got no damn struggle to me. I'm like, all these bitches really want to goddamn. I'm like, the way that men treat me, it's absurd. I'm like, it's really absurd that all these women niggas got loyalty from these women, and I'm like, ooh. But I actually view men as a detox though, because I don't expect men to like me naturally. That's the lesson I was being taught growing up. Men are not gonna like me, and at the end of the day, I'm set up for the okie doke. And I'm like, it's fucked up because motherfuckers sitting here really judge me based off the way I look. That shit is feminine as hell. I don't think that when it come to masculine ideology, that ain't something that niggas is really worried about. Like real niggas is not worried about the way they look. I don't know. Like I said, man, niggas. I was out there in Spartanburg and a girl came to my apartment and was telling some niggas make sure she ain't got no gun on her. I don't know who weak, her or me. Cause I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting here being oppressed by heterosexuality, and I just need everybody to know that I will pull a trigger if I have a gun. And I knew that these bitches were gonna have an advantage over me based off heterosexualism. I'm like, all these women that I'm locked up around, they straight. They finna gang up on me. So they didn't expect me to be jealous of their boyfriends, and they sitting here trying to do all this side talking. I'm like, these niggas like, man, I got these hoes on lock. And I agree with that statement. I ain't got nobody on lock, boy. I fear for my life out here in these streets of heterosexualism. Those women were really putting those men on the pedestal. I'm like, I wonder what they put on the pedestal for being men, or they really valued their minds. I'm like, these niggas are getting respect based off the way they look. Like this nigga Rob Mason, I wrote a couple of raps for him just based off. I didn't even know who he was, but I told him he was a predictable person. I'm like, he gonna be one of my downfalls. He a cute boy. That's why all these moms and shit is encouraging their sons to be pimps, because there is an advantage that some of these men have over women based off looks, and some of these niggas know that. So, I said, if I ever had a son, I would raise him to be a pimp, because that's the dynamic I come from. I know these women that I crossed over the hurdles of having babies and shit, going through all that pain, feel protected by a male identity. I don't feel protected by nobody out here. When I see people like Master P saying that his daughter is dead, it makes no sense to me. Motherfuckers want wealth. I was at a dude told us he was a trillionaire. All the people tried him up. I'm like, what they? I don't know. Money do not make me come. I ain't no Creole female. That ain't how my mind works. I ain't finna do everything for money. I want a peace of mind. I'm like a good cop, right? A peace of mind